The Grammys are one of the most important music events of the year, but it doesn't always go according to plan. With so much excitement and nervous energy in one room, it's no wonder it had its fair share of awkward moments this year. The Grammys had a massive slip-up last night, accidentally releasing the wrong name on their X page for the recipient of the Best Rap Song Award. They announced that Barbie World from Barbie the Album, performed by Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice, won, when it was actually Killer Mike for Scientists and Engineers. This was especially awful, as this would have been Nicki Minaj's first Grammy win, something fans have been lobbying for years. Nicki has been nominated 12 times since 2011, but has never taken anything home. It was an unfortunate mistake that was quickly fixed, but not before multiple fans grabbed screenshots of the tweet.
They announced on Twitter, and this is their Twitter, that Barbie World, Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice just won Best Rap Song. Then they gonna say the Grammys official account mistakenly announced Barbie World as the Best Rap Song winner instead of Scientists and Engineers. What the hell?
Miley Cyrus has finally won a Grammy. It's about time. She won for her track Flowers in the Best Pop Solo Performance category. Flowers spent 38 weeks at the top of the Billboard Adult Contemporary chart, making it the longest-running #1 hit in the chart's history. The hook of the song and just the message in general had quite a chokehold over TikTok when it first came out. My point is, the song was popular. Everybody was singing it, just not last night during Miley's performance, leading to an awkward moment where Cyrus called out the silent crowd saying, "Why are you acting like you don't know this song?" Which is fair, the song is super fun, and pretty soon after, lots of people were up and dancing. Miley continued to bring the energy after she sang, started to cry, but then remembered, "I just won my first Grammy." No one was silent after that. She also received the Grammy for the Record of the Year, also for Flowers. Bebe Rexha was nominated this year with David Guetta in the Pop Dance Recording category for their collab One in a Million. Bebe is known on her own for party anthems like Me, Myself and I and In the Name of Love, but did you know about her extensive opera training? If you didn't, you probably found out last night in the middle of her red carpet interview with Laverne Cox. The pair started out with the average red carpet talking points, the songs, and the glam, but towards the end of the interview, Laverne brought up a past time the pair had met when Bebe revealed she wanted people to get to know the real her. She also brought up the fact that Bebe is a talented opera singer, asking her to share something about herself singing if she wants. And she did! The two of them were having a lot of fun, but for the viewers at home and on the side of the screen, there was a bit of confusion as to why a high C was suddenly being heard. Plus, singing with no music, unprepared, is always an awkward experience. Although, if this were going to happen on any red carpet, it would be the Grammys. Just a few days ago, UMG Studios announced that it would be pulling all of their artists' music from the popular social media app TikTok, prompting disappointments from fans worldwide. This would include songs from people like Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, Harry Styles, and Drake. UMG announced that the reasoning for that was TikTok wasn't providing adequate compensation for the use of the music. This year's host, Trevor Noah, he did not shy away from the situation. He called it out, saying, "TikTok, shame on you for ripping off all these artists. That's Spotify's job." Spotify was minding their business, but I guess no one is safe. Spotify did have a similar controversy a few years ago, but there is a new policy being put in place this year that no one is a fan of. The change is that if an artist receives less than 1,000 streams, they won't be compensated at all. For reference, Spotify pays artists about 0.003 to 0.005 of a cent per stream. That's only about $3 for 999 streams. Maybe they did deserve the call out. SZA won her 4th Grammy yesterday for her song Snooze. It was in the Best R&B category, but she was the most nominated artist for the evening with 9 nominations. Longtime friend Lizzo got to announce the R&B win, and it was met with plenty of excitement from the audience, only SZA was nowhere to be found. She took so long to come out on stage that people started looking for her. It only took about 20 seconds for her to come out on stage, but on a stage and screen as big as the Grammys, that feels like an eternity. SZA did explain her absence during her acceptance speech. She was in the middle of a costume change and had to do a, I'm assuming, celebration shot. Casey Musgraves was nominated in 2 categories last night, Best Country Song and Best Country Duo/Group Performance, for the song I Remember Everything, winning the latter. She had the opportunity to present an award this year. Unfortunately, the new winner almost didn't hear their name. Casey was standing so far back from the mic that the audience and at-home viewers had to strain to hear her. She did correct her mistake in time to announce the winner, eventually moving further forwards to actually announce the name. There was a bit of awkward silence as everyone tried to hear exactly what was going on beforehand though. Another awkward red carpet moment came from actor and singer Michael Trotter. He revealed revealed in an interview that he had been pretty worried because he thought his wife, singer Tanya Trotter, was going to divorce him before their Grammy nomination. As an interviewer, I wouldn't know what to do with that if I received that info, but they handled it well. The pair is still together under the name War and Treaty and were nominated for their collaboration Lover's Game in the Best New Artist category. They received 2 nominations for the evening but did not go home with either, unfortunately. Not everyone loves audience participation, even some of the biggest artists on the planet. During Fantasia's Tina Turner tribute, eagle-eyed fans spotted Beyonce slightly hiding under her hat, not making eye contact when Fantasia was looking for a dance partner. The performance is a lot of fun and packed full of energy, so I can understand Beyonce maybe wanting to sit back and enjoy watching instead of being a part of the piece. Beyonce was not nominated for any Grammys this year. She did attend though with her daughter Blue Ivy to support her husband Jay-Z, who was receiving the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. Beyonce has received 88 nominations and 32 wins over the years, making her the artist with the most Grammy awards, yet never an album of the year, which actually led to another awkward moment. Not necessarily awkward for the audience, and more awkward for the Grammys. During Jay-Z's acceptance speech for the Impact Award, he used part of his time to call out the award show for snubbing his wife in the Best Album category. He said, "I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than anyone and never won Album of the Year. Even by your own metric, that does not work. Think about that. Most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work." And he's right. Beyonce has created some of the best music and pop culture moments of our generation, and she's never won in that category? That's kind of weird. This isn't the first time Jay-Z has stood up to the Grammys. In 1998, he boycotted the Grammys over rapper DMX's lack of nominations. Probably the most awkward moment of all happened after someone left the Grammy stage. Rapper Killer Mike won 3 Grammys last night for Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Rap Album for his 2023 album, Michael. However, what should have been a celebratory evening turned sour when he was seen leaving the event in handcuffs. A social media post from the LAPD said the reason the rapper was taken into custody was because he got into a physical altercation that occurred at the 700 block of Chick Hearn Court. Allegedly, he got physical with a security guard that was not moving fast enough for Killer Mike's liking. No other details have been released yet.
First up, we have Jay-Z. This happened recently at this year's Grammy Awards. Jay-Z won the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award at the Grammy Awards on Sunday and called out the Recording Academy for failing to recognize his wife, Beyonce, with Album of the Year. "I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right," the Hard Knock Life rapper said. "We love y'all, at least get it close to right. Obviously, it's subjective because it's music and it's opinion based, but some things, you know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that," he repeated. "The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work." Beyonce has been nominated for Album of the Year 4 times, but has lost each time she has been nominated. First to Taylor Swift, then to Beck, then to Adele, and finally to Harry Styles. She currently holds the record for the most Grammy wins in history with 32. Jay-Z went on to cheekily mock the intense emotions that Grammy losers sometimes endure. "Some of you are gonna go home tonight and you feel like you've been robbed," he said. "Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category. When I get nervous, I tell the truth." Next up, we have Billy Joel. When Frank Sinatra was honored at the 1994 Grammys with the Legend Award, his speech seemed to go on and on. But no one expected the broadcast to cut him off mid-sentence and immediately go to commercial. Later, during the ceremony, Billy Joel took a stand. He stopped his performance of River of Dreams intentionally to waste commercial time, saying, "Valuable advertising time going by. Dollars, dollars, dollars." He smirked and carried on. Now let's talk about Milli Vanilli. In a first for the Grammys, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences rescinded Milli Vanilli's 1990 Best New Artist Award after it was revealed that the duo did not sing at all, did not sing any of the vocals on their album All or Nothing, including their mega hit Girl You Know It's True. That is not the kind of history that any artist wants to make. I hope revoking this award will make the industry think long and hard before anybody ever tries to pull something like this again, the Recording Academy president said at the time. Seemingly, it has. If you don't know the whole story, let me recap. The German-French pop duo barnstormed through European charts with their first single, Girl You Know It's True. The song hit the US airwaves in March later that year with stratospheric impact. Their debut album sold over 8 million million copies and spawned 3 #1 singles. It stayed in the top 10 for the rest of the year. Young fans, mainly women, screamed along to Rob Pilatus and Fabrice Morvan's tight choreography and blatant eye candy. All of that was overshadowed and then swept into the dustbin of pop history by disgrace. By the time Milli Vanilli accepted the Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1990, many in the music business suspected something was afoot. That November, Farian, one of the members, revealed in a press conference that the duo never sang on any of their recordings and lip-synced their performances. Wow. Radio stations stopped playing all their songs and fans destroyed their records, as well as the Grammys rescinding their award for the only time ever in history. Next up, we have 21 Pilots. Upon receiving their Grammy for Best Pop Duo Performance for the song Stressed Out at the 2017 Grammys, 21 Pilots walked up on stage to accept the award in their underwear. According to the band, it was fulfilling an old promise that they made to each other to accept their first Grammy in their underwear. Host James Corden followed suit, introducing Ed Sheeran later that night in his boxer briefs as he explained to the audience, "I always told myself that if I ever hosted the Grammys, I would also do it in my underwear." 21 Pilots have had their fair share of controversy. In 2020, Tyler Joseph issued an apology after making a joke about using his platforms, which many of his followers deemed insensitive. He took to Twitter to share 2 photos of himself wearing a pair of white shoes, captioning the post, "You guys keep asking me to use my platforms. Feels good to dust these bad boys off." The joke was perceived to be a response to many of the singer's fans who have urged him to use his status and large following to raise awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement and other social issues. "Human rights aren't a joke, but okay," one fan replied. Another commented, "No, that's actually not what we mean. We would like you to speak up on the injustice in this country." A third follower labeled the post, quote, "really tone deaf and insensitive," adding, "You've been known to not like to talk about politics, but are human rights really that political? No, they are not." Next up, we have Kanye West. At the 2015 Grammys, Kanye nearly went on stage after Beck won Album of the Year. Everybody thought he was joking, maybe making a reference to his infamous 2009 VMAs moment when he jumped on stage and told Taylor Swift that she didn't deserve her award, but this time he wasn't joking. Although he didn't take the mic this time around, he shared his thoughts on Beck's win after the show, saying, quote, "All I know is if the Grammys want real artists to keep coming back, they need to stop playing with us. We ain't gonna play with them no more. Beck needs to respect artistry and he should have given his award to Beyonce, and at this point, we're tired of it," Kanye said, with his wife Kim K at his side. He continued, "Because what happens is when you keep on diminishing art and not respecting the craft and smacking people in the face after they deliver monumental feats of music, you're disrespectful to inspiration, and we as musicians have to inspire people who go to work every day and they listen to that Beyonce album and they feel like it takes them to another place." Next up, we have Miley Cyrus. Miley has had her fair share of award show moments, like when she grinded on a pool on top of an ice cream cart at the Teen Choice Awards, and when she performed Blurred Lines, dressed as a naked bear. But at this year's Grammys, Miley spoke her honest truth while performing her mega hit song Flowers. Everything was going well in her performance until she got to the chorus. I guess she noticed the audience wasn't singing along, and so she stopped the song saying, "Why are you acting like you don't know the song?" After a moment of silence, she continued, with no one in the audience joining in. Next up, we have Taylor Swift. Now, Taylor has had over a decade of going to the Grammys, so let's talk about 2 awkward moments. First up is more recent. At this year's Grammys, Celine Dion presented the award for Album of the Year to Taylor Swift. This was a huge moment for Celine, as this is her first public event since the announcement of her illness, stiff person's syndrome. You'd think Taylor would respect the person giving her the award, but no. Taylor got on stage, hugged every single person on there except for Celine Dion. She also didn't make eye contact with her while taking the award. Yikes. I guess there's unknown beef between the 2 megastars. Next, we have the famous red carpet interview from the 2015 Grammy Awards. To refresh your memory, the exchange unfolded while Swift spoke with Entertainment Tonight reporter Nancy O'Dell about her dress. Things took an awkward turn when O'Dell insinuated about her much talked about dating life. As the camera does a full take on Taylor's dress, the reporter says, quote, "I just wanted to show the legs because as I was telling you ahead of time, you're going to walk home with more than maybe just a trophy tonight." I think lots of men. The singer appears to shoot Odell a death stare before replying, "No, I'm not gonna walk home with any men tonight. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends and then I go home to the cats." Next, we have Trevor Noah. As host of the 2024 Grammys, Trevor had a lot to say. As the music industry continues making sense of music by UMG artists being removed from TikTok earlier this week, on Sunday night during the Grammy Awards, host Trevor Noah called out TikTok during his opening monologue. "Shame on you, TikTok, for ripping off artists. That's Spotify's job," he says. Wow. Nice and honest. I like it. Our next celebrity is Nicki Minaj. In Nicki's 2012 Grammys performance, people were, let's just say, confused. Her performance of Roman's Revenge was confusing and super bizarre. For those who don't know, Roman is Nicki's British alter ego. During the first part of her performance, she was pretending to be Roman while confessing her sins to a priest. While Nicki may think her Roman character is interesting, most of the population does not. In fact, most people in the audience just assumed Roman was Nicki rapping in a British accent. She falsely assumed that people would understand the story behind her performance. Most people questioned what was happening at the time, and the performance was a lot to take in. Besides being difficult to understand, Nicki was full of manic energy and really difficult to watch. Many found the Catholic Church imagery to also be offensive, and it was obvious that she lip-synced most of her performance. Finally, we have Beyonce. At the 2023 Grammy Awards, Beyonce was missing when it came to accept her award. Viola Davis announced the nominees and revealed that Beyonce had won. However, when the camera panned to the audience, the Break My Soul singer was not there, despite Trevor Noah, who also hosted that year's awards, saying that she was in the crowd moments earlier. After the camera couldn't find Beyonce, it panned back to the stage where two men were standing holding the singer's award. One of the men, one of the writers of the song, said something inaudible into the microphone before ending with, "Beyonce, thanks y'all." Trevor stepped up to the mic and told the confused audience Beyonce is on her way after being stuck in traffic. Beyonce has now equaled the award for most Grammys of all time, he added, stalling until she arrived.
Starting off our list at number 10 today, we have Harry Styles. Currently, Harry Styles is receiving backlash over comments he made during his Album of the Year speech at the Grammys on Sunday. What should have been a big night for Harry after he performed his #1 single, as it was, and won his first Grammy Award, would soon be forgotten after he made some pretty serious remarks during his acceptance speech. After he won Album of the Year, reacting to Harry's win, he said, "I've been so inspired by every artist in this category with me at a lot of different times in my life. I think on nights like tonight, it's so important to remember that there's no nights like tonight. It's so important to remember that there's no such thing as best in music. This is really, really kind. I'm so grateful that this doesn't happen to people like me very often. This is so nice. Thank you." While fans were quick to congratulate Harry, others decided to point out that there were issues with Harry claiming that this doesn't happen to people like him very often, because for years, white men like Harry have always been given preferential treatment at the award shows like the Grammys, and this year he was up against artists who have been historically shut out of those awards for years. Number 9, Chris Brown. Chris Brown isn't a happy camper after finding out that he lost out on Best R&B Album of the Year to pianist Robert Glasper at the 65th Grammy Awards on Sunday. Voicing his anger over his loss, Chris would head over to his Instagram to fire shots at Robert in a series of stories posted to Chris's account. In one post, Chris would say, "Y'all playing, who the F is this?" alongside a picture of Glasper with several crying laughing emojis. And he didn't stop bashing Robert there, as he then went on to say, "Who the F is Robert Glasper? I'ma keep kicking y'all ass. Respectfully." Robert, who has written and produced albums for hitmakers including Kendrick Lamar and Mac Miller, has received 12 nods across 8 categories throughout his entire musical career. Chris wrapping up his roasting session against Glasper would prove that he's just a sore loser when he said, "I gotta get my skills up, I'ma start playing the harmonica." The internet would then start to call out Chris Brown, and one person on the internet even pointed out Chris Brown having no idea who Robert Glasper is and proceeding to come for him him perfectly explains why his music hasn't grown or matured in the last 15 years. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in number 8 we have Quavo and Offset. It's now been reported that Quavo and Offset allegedly got into a fight backstage at the Grammys just before Quavo took to the stage to play tribute to Takeoff. TMZ would then report that sources have confirmed that the two rappers even had to be pulled apart. Apparently, in the beginning, the Grammy producers reportedly asked Offset to play tribute, but Quavo stopped that from happening. Sources then added it wasn't Offset who started the fight on Sunday. Quavo then ultimately took the stage alone to perform his song Without You during the show's Memoriam segment. The song arrived last month and it is about the late rapper who fatally lost his life on November 1st at the age of 28 in Houston. Prior to Takeoff's passing, the rapper released a collaborative album with Quavo. While rumors at this time were circulating that the Migos had broken up, it's unclear at the time if the group was just simply taking a hiatus. Takeoff would then give more of an uncertain response by saying, "Only time will tell, we always will be family now, that ain't gonna change." However, if one thing's clear, he would have definitely been disappointed in Quavo if he knew he shut out Offset from remembering his legacy as well. Number 7, Nicki Minaj and Latto. Back in October, first round of voting for the Grammys would be announced, and with the awards in process, it started to stir up some major controversy in the hip-hop world and beyond. A feud between Nicki Minaj and Latto broke out into the open after Nicki said she felt like the Recording Academy was showing a bias towards Latto in a way their work was being categorized. As the Twitter war between the two started to heat up, Nicki would even call the newcomer an entitled Karen, and Latto would return the fire by saying Nicki was a 40-year-old bully acting in a way unbecoming of her age and stature. She then referred to Nicki as my idol turned rival, and then the conversation quickly turned nuclear when the rapper said, "Super freaky grandma is married and related to an effing R. You ain't gonna bully me, B, my idol turned rival. Now you hating." While Nicki went to delete the tweets, Latto has kept them up, and it highlights that you can ruin your career before the Grammys even get started. It also shows that women need to stop going after other women coming up from under them. Number 6, The Weeknd. When voting began for the 2023 Grammy Awards, the ballot would reveal that The Weeknd has still continued to withhold his music from the awards consideration. While the artist appeared across the ballot numerous times due to his guestwork, his respective solo album would be nowhere to be found. The Weeknd first began his boycott of the Grammys in 2021 after not receiving any nominations for his massive, successful After Hours or its singles. He then went on to say, "Because of the secret committees, I will no longer allow my label to submit my music to the Grammys." Even after the Recording Academy changed some of its rules, he maintained that he would not be submitting his work. However, despite his boycott, The Weeknd did win the 2022 Grammy Award for the Best Melodic Rap Performance for his contributions to Kanye West, Hurricane. Number 5, Will Smith. So it's clear that the Grammys never hurt Will's career. However, I think it's still worth mentioning that Will Smith boycotted the Grammys back in 1989 after he and his musical partner DJ Jazzy Jeff boycotted the Grammy Awards after learning that the presentation of the award for the new category at the time of Best Rap Performance wouldn't be televised. Smith and Jeff were nominated and ultimately won the Grammy for Parents Just Don't Understand. Smith then in an interview with Entertainment Tonight would say, "We don't have a problem with the Grammys as an award or the Grammys as an institution. We just had a problem with the 1989 design of the award show. We chose to boycott. We feel that it's a slap in the face." He then told the LA Times after winning he was more than happy to accept it, before adding that he wasn't happy as he could have been, as the presentation was not televised and distracted him from the excitement of the award. Now, it's no lie that Will Smith will boycott shows that he sees problems with, and the Grammys have clearly not changed since. Number 4, Trevor Noah. During the 2022 Grammys, Trevor Noah would make a pretty controversial speech after he decided it was a good idea to address the Will Smith Oscar slap during his introduction. During the ceremony, Trevor went on to say, "We're going to be listening to some music, we're going to be dancing, we're going to be singing, we're going to be keeping people's names out of our mouths." With the Grammys and the Oscars only just being days apart from each other, it really wasn't the time or the place to make fun of such a hurtful incident, especially since no one should ever condone violence or make fun of it. Not to mention, Will also started to go through a really tough mental health crisis after the incident, and he chose to quit the academy as a result of his actions. However, the world just keeps making such a heavy topic a joke, and that's not okay. Number 3, Justin Timberlake. Both Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake were under fire after a planned costume reveal during the Super Bowl halftime show didn't go exactly the way they thought it would, after Justin accidentally ripped Jackson's costume and revealed her chest on camera. Just weeks later, both Timberlake and Jackson were asked not to attend the Grammys unless they agreed to apologize on stage. Jackson had been part of a planned tribute to Luther Vandross, while Justin had been nominated for several awards and was also scheduled to perform. Justin ultimately went on to apologize, however, Miss Jackson declined the invitation, so as a result, Jackson ended up being cut from the tribute, while Justin went on to take home an Album of the Year and Best Vocal Pop Album. During his speech, he also decided to bring up the event again, maybe to embarrass Janet, when he apologized for offending his fans in the Academy. Number 2, Milli Vanilli. Milli Vanilli, a duo composed of Robert Pilatus and Fab Morvan, hit the music scene with their hit album Girl You Know It's True. With 3 of their songs on the album hitting the #1 spot, they would soon be nominated for Best New Artist. However, after they took home the prize, they would soon be forced to give their award back just 9 months later, after it was revealed that they didn't actually perform any of their songs on their album and that they had actually lip-synced their way through all of their live performances. While some said the lip-syncing was known by some in the industry, others couldn't believe that the duo were faking it because they were so good at it. In fact, at first even their own record label didn't even know that the two were lip-syncing, but later uncovered the truth. The artists then felt so bad about the deception that just a week before their cover was actually blown, they suggested that the prize should be given to the actual singers on their album, John Davis, Brad Howell, and Charles Shaw. The pair then officially returned the Grammys just one day after Michael Green revoked their prize. Number 1, Kanye West. When it comes to award shows, you never know what Kanye's going to do, and due to his very controversial behavior, he would even find himself being barred from performing at the Grammys in 2022 due to his concerning online behavior. Variety would then confirm that the decision would come just a day after Kanye, legally known as Ye, was suspended from Instagram for 24 hours for his multiple posts of hate speech, bullying, and harassment. Trevor Noah, the comedian and Daily Show host, then criticized the post Kanye made about his ex-wife Kim, to which Kanye would respond by using a racial slur before deleting the post. The decision the Academy made to drop West wasn't really unexpected. However, the veteran rapper The Game, who collaborated with West on a recent single with a Pete Davidson trolling video, would say, "Time and time again, they show us that they want to steal the culture and not allow you to ever be their equals." However, with Kanye spewing so much hate, it had nothing to do with culture, but more to do that they didn't want him to use their platform to spew more hate, because these events are about joy and celebrating and not hurting others.
And at number 10, Justin Timberlake. After the infamous Nipplegate scandal involving Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl, the pair were in very hot water with the public. The Grammys took place shortly after the Super Bowl, and in order for Justin Timberlake to attend the Grammys, he was told he had to make a public apology for the incident at the 2004 show. So when he was announced as the winner for Best Pop Performance for his single Cry Me a River, he came up and delivered his acceptance speech, along with including this apology. During his speech, he said, quote, "I know it's been a rough week on everybody. What occurred was unintentional, completely regrettable, and I apologize if you guys are offended." However, this caused some people to wonder why Janet Jackson was not at the Grammys. Apparently, she was asked to apologize by the Grammys, but she refused, so she was not able to attend the show. And at number 9, Will Smith. In 1989, Will Smith and his collaborator DJ Jazzy Jeff boycotted the Grammy Awards because the category of Best Rap Performance was not going to be put on TV. This felt like a slap in the face to Will because it seemed like the Grammys did not care about rap music. He then did an interview with Entertainment Tonight where he explained that he had no issues with the Grammys as an organization, but he just wanted to make it clear that he didn't agree with their decision regarding the rap category. But shockingly, even though he didn't attend the awards, he and DJ Jazzy Jeff still won the Best Rap Performance for their hit, Parents Just Don't Understand. After Will Smith took a stand in that way,
plenty of other artists have publicly boycotted the awards over policies the singers do not agree with. And at number 8, Milli Vanilli. Music duo Milli Vanilli took the world by storm in 1990 when their song Girl You Know It's True topped the charts globally. Their catchy song made them an instant hit, and the pair even won a Grammy Award for Best New Artist, thanks to the hit song. But 8 months later is when the scandal would start. While the pair were performing on stage at a different event, their track skipped, it was revealed that the pair were lip-syncing. But that was not all. Apparently the men didn't even sing the songs in the first place. Someone else sang their music, and these men were just hired to be the face of the brand, dancing and performing the music on stage. After the scandal was exposed, the Grammys took the award away from Milli Vanilli. They were the first artists ever to have their award taken away from them. And at number 7, Eminem. If you guys aren't familiar with Eminem, his lyrics are very controversial. He frequently uses slurs in his music, specifically against the LGBT community. In 2001, Eminem received backlash from the community for homophobic lyrics on his album, the Marshall Mathers LP. In the midst of the backlash, it was announced that he would be performing at the 2001 Grammy Awards. The GLAAD organization then held a protest against the decision and called out the Grammys for giving his words a platform. In response to all the backlash, Eminem made a statement by performing his hit song Stan with Elton John, who is of course openly gay. At the end of their performance, the pair hugged it out, and then Eminem flipped off the Grammy audience. And at number 6, Andre 3000. After Outkast won the Album of the Year award at the 2004 Grammys for Speakerboxx / The Love Below, the group's lead singer Andre 3000 closed out the show with a performance of their hit song Hey Ya. But the performance was a little different than usual, because he sang while wearing a Native American themed costume that ended up offending the Native American viewers. They believed there was a clear double standard, and the performance would not have happened if the performance was emulating another community. After the performance got backlash from the Native community, CBS apologized on behalf of the group for their choice of clothes. Halfway number 5, Chris Brown. One of the worst scandals ever was back in 2009 when Chris Brown brutally Rihanna. You might not have known this, but this event is actually connected to the Grammys. The night before the Grammys, there's always a prestigious party thrown called the Clive Davis Grammy Pre-Party. The night before the 2009 show, Chris Brown and Rihanna attended the party together, but unfortunately only hours after they left is when the terrible incident occurred in the car where they were driving back from the party. The next day, shocking headlines revealed what happened, and it completely overshadowed the awards themselves. Neither one of the pair showed up at the show because they obviously had more important things to deal with, but it definitely changed the tone of the show. And at number 4, Whitney Houston. This is sadly another tragedy that was linked to the annual Clive Davis Grammy party, held the night before the Grammys. After the 2012 party, Whitney Houston went back to her room at the Beverly Hills Hotel and unexpectedly passed away. Her passing not only made headlines the day of the show, but it drastically shifted the tone of the event. During the show's In Memoriam segment, for artists who had passed away that year, Jennifer Hudson took to the stage and performed Houston's classic hit, I Will Always Love You. Hudson ended the performance by saying, quote, "Whitney, we will always love you." And at number 3, Macklemore. 2014 was the breakout year for two major artists, Kendrick Lamar and Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, but only one took the top spot at the 2014 Grammys. Shockingly, Kendrick Lamar took home 0 awards, while Macklemore essentially swept the show, taking home the trophies for Best New Artist and Best Rap Album. Fans online were shocked over Macklemore's win and immediately started pushing that Kendrick deserved the award instead. The backlash against his win got so bad that apparently Macklemore texted Kendrick after the award show and admitted that he deserved the award more than him. The text read, quote, "I wanted you to win, you should have." And at number 2, Wu-Tang Clan's Interruption. Before Kanye West was known for the worst acceptance speech Interruption, the Wu-Tang Clan actually had that title after they interrupted Sean Colvin at the 1998 awards. After the winners were announced, Sean Colvin took home the award for her song Sunny Came Home, but not before Wu-Tang Clan's ODB came on stage first, grabbed the mic and started ranting. Everyone just kinda stood by and watched because nobody knew what to do. He came on stage and said he bought an expensive outfit because he thought the group was going to win the award. But the craziest part is that the Wu-Tang Clan was not even nominated for the award that year. Colvin then tried to give her speech, but admitted that she was pretty confused when she came onto the stage. And finally at number 1, Taylor Swift. So the infamous Kanye mic stealing incident did not happen at the Grammys, it happened at the VMAs. But the tension between the pair was definitely felt during the 2016 Grammys. That year was particularly rough for Taylor. She was branded a snake by Kim and Kanye, and everyone thought she was a liar after Kim revealed that Kanye asked Taylor about some of the lyrics for her song Famous. Then when Taylor went on stage to accept her award for the Album of the Year at the Grammys, she made sure to take a dig at Kanye during her speech. She said, quote, "There will be people along the way that try to undercut your success or take credit for your accomplishments or your fame." clearly referencing the line in Kanye's song where he raps that he made Taylor famous. Taylor's BFF Selena Gomez looked on lovingly from the crowd, so proud of her friend.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have Ben Affleck. Okay, so we've all been wondering what happened between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez at the Grammys. Well, thanks to Anna, a seat filler, she took to her TikTok to address what was going on between them after Ben was spotted looking not so happy during the ceremony. Apparently, Ben was looking a little gloomy because he wasn't really happy that he was going viral for his facial expressions. Ben was really upset at the fact that he was going viral again, as previously the actor and director went viral for the sad Affleck meme a while back. Anna in a video continued to say he knew during the performance that he was a meme, like he knew, and he also chose just not to change his expression. And also went on to note that she didn't know the meme of Ben Affleck being an upset at the award show, and she didn't speak to him while she was seated beside him because he didn't look so happy. Number 9, Trevor Noah. After this year's Grammy, a girl named Pan exposed a bunch of celebrities at the Grammys and how they acted throughout the night. Now, it's no lie that celebrities don't want seat fillers to sit next to them because they don't want any of their drama at their table to be revealed. So they do give them a bit of a hard time when they do try to fill empty seats so the tables don't look empty. When Pan sat down in one of Beyonce's seats, Beyonce's bodyguard, Julius DeVore, even told her to leave the seat, which resulted in her taking a seat that Trevor Noah was in. While she was sitting in the seat, she was sitting beside J-Lo. Just when the commercial break started, Pan noticed that Trevor was making his way back over, and when he arrived, he told her to stand up. When she did, he quickly sat down and started greeting J-Lo, which left the fan in a position where she didn't know where to go. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have Jennifer Lopez. While Anna was exposing what happened between Ben and J-Lo, she would explain that Jennifer was on her phone and realized that her husband was going viral for his expression. When she shared the news with Ben, he wasn't so happy about the trend. To the point when Jennifer showed him the phone, she said, "Honey, this is so funny, look at this." He responded by saying, "Jesus Christ." So we all saw that video where a lip reader was hired by the Daily Mail that alleged that Jennifer told Ben to stop, look more friendly, and to look motivated. However, Anna claimed that the whole time the couple was actually super dovey and they had their hands intertwined and that it was really cute, and while she was sitting next to them, it actually wasn't what the Daily Mail was making it out to be. As she said, she wasn't like, "Oh my god, this is going to lead to a divorce," as she thought they were cute and she had a great time sitting next to them for the time that she was sitting there for. Coming in number 7, Ariana Grande. Terry George, the man who was mistaken for Billie Eilish's grandfather at the 2020 Grammys, seemed like he had a lot of fun that night as he was adopted into Billie's entourage. However, one star didn't rub off so nice on him. When he had the opportunity to speak about the event, he let it know who it was. During his interview, he said he was having such a great time with Billie that he even got to pose for photos with the singer. However, one person who wasn't so keen on taking selfies with him was Ariana Grande. When Terry was asked by Insider if Ariana was acting like a bit of a diva, he would respond to the outlet by saying, "Yeah, she was." He then went on to say somebody had gotten up and said, "Oh, I'm gonna get a selfie with Ariana Grande," and that's when he thought that it would be good if he could get one as well. However, when Terry finally made his way to her to ask for a photo, she refused and told him, "Not right now, I'm not in the mood." Terry also went on to note that she didn't win an award that night, so that's probably why she was so upset and acted like a diva. Number 6, Louis Capaldi. Louis Capaldi never got exposed at the Grammys, however he did once get mistaken for being a seat filler at the show in 2020. While the star was a nominee for his song Someone You Loved, the musician's big award show moment was interrupted when someone confused him for being a seat filler. According to Louis himself on Twitter, there was a bit of a mix-up at the ceremony when he said, "A lady at the Grammys has just come up and offered to take my seat because she thought I was one of of those people who sits in chairs to fill them when someone gets up to use the bathroom. Lewis didn't have any hard feelings regarding the awkward moment and appeared to enjoy the ceremony just the same. The singer didn't go on to share anything else about his Grammy experience that night. However, he did share a pre-show peek of himself in the bathroom for all his fans to see, so he was clearly having fun. Number 5, The Rock. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez wouldn't be the only one exposed during the 2023 Grammy show this year, as Pan, who won a spot to be a seat filler at the event, explained throughout the show her job was to fill seats so no empty seats were shown on camera. Well, sometimes this can be really difficult for the seat fillers, as some celebrities just refuse to let them sit next to them or tell them that their partners or friends are actually sitting in them and that they'll be back soon and to not take their seats. It wasn't Pan's first time attending an award show, and the Grammys would be the first time that she actually got to sit among the stars. When on the floor, Pan had to follow many rules, which included her not talking to celebrities who didn't engage in conversation with her first. During her time on the floor, she actually broke that rule when she decided to make the opportunity to talk to The Rock by asking him if the seat next to him was taken. Then Rock kind of gave her the cold shoulder, like many celebrities who don't want to sit next to someone random, and told her it was. Number 4, Chris Stapleton. In 2022, Natalie Bickle was one of the lucky 150 winners of the seat lottery for the Grammy Awards. While the seat fillers fill empty seats so they can give the illusion of filled seats throughout the night, it becomes a fun moment of musical chairs for any of the lucky winners. While moving around the floor, the fillers are not allowed to initiate in any conversation with any celebrities, but you can have a conversation with them if they talk to you first. While Natalie got close to many stars, she even got to talk to some people at Chris Stapleton's table when she said that she took his seat at his table when he was getting an award. While she was at the table, some of his entourage members did talk to her for a bit. However, when Chris went back to claim his seat, didn't acknowledge Natalie whatsoever. Number 3, Justin Bieber. Not only did Natalie Bickle note that she had an awkward moment with Chris Stapleton when he returned back to his seat, but she also noted how sweet Justin Bieber's friendship really is with Billie Eilish, and how she loved watching Justin react to Billie's performances. In her interview with The Insider, Natalie said that whenever Billie Eilish was performing, Justin Bieber was the first to stand up and give her a standing ovation. Natalie then recalled the moment was actually really neat, and she found the overall gesture really adoring and sweet, as Billie has been a very outspoken Bieber fan for years, and Justin has even been really protective over Billie, as he knows how hard it can be for kids entering into the industry. So it's really sweet to know that he actually really cares about her and wants to make her experience better than his was. Coming number 2, we do have Billie Eilish. Apparently being a seat filler at the Grammys guarantees that you will leave with some great stories to tell your mates. And this is exactly what happened to Terry George, who ended up being able to sit with Billie Eilish. In the process, he actually ended up getting mistaken for the singer's granddad. The former Secret Millionaire star told Yorkshire Live that fans made the assumption based on the fact that he was cheering on her win. Terry then went on to say, "I went to the Grammys as a seat filler and ended up sitting next to Billie Eilish when she was winning her awards, and it's probably the best seat in the house. It's what I call a golden seat, really." Terry would then later reveal that Billie is actually just as sweet in real life that we all expected her to be, when he said, as her and her brother made him feel like he was a part of the group. As when she won the award, both grabbed his hand before she headed to the stage to claim her award, and when she returned, Terry asked her what she was going to do if she won the next award, to which Billie said, "Oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do." And coming in at number 1 today, we have Olivia Rodrigo. This year the Grammys wasn't really filled with any drama, which is actually really boring to see. However, some seat fillers did share all the fun memories they made while attending the show. One of the night's seat winners, Cameron Carlson from North Dakota, even got to fist bump Harry Styles. At one point during the night too, Cameron would note that he was seated on the right side of the venue at a table behind Olivia Rodrigo, and he explained that the award award recipient, Harry Styles, would frequently pass by his seat and even did this little victory lap before he fist bumped him. And then when he went to perform, at one point he noticed that James Corden and Olivia Rodrigo were dancing. And that's when he noticed Olivia was jamming out a little too hard and she actually knocked down her chair in the process. Cameron would then say, I was like, okay, I'm here to be a hero. So he ran over, picked up her chair, Olivia thanked him, and even gave him a half hug, and he found the altercation to be like very crazy.
Number 10. Morgan Wallen. Morgan Wallen was making it big before a big misstep in 2020 landed him in handcuffs. According to fellow musician Kid Rock, Wallen was arrested outside of his establishment in Nashville, Tennessee for having just a bit too much no-no juice and getting into a physical altercation. While being taken out of the building, he was breaking glasses and shouting really harsh words not worth repeating. That wasn't the only thing he did that landed him in hot water though in 2020, because as many people should know, 2020 was the year that we kinda skipped being told to stay in our homes and whatnot, but much like many rich people out there, Morgan decided to ignore the orders and just do his own thing. He was photographed having a wonderful time with some friends without a care in the world. Now while he really should have cared, because following week he was supposed to perform on Saturday Night Live, but he was asked not to attend. Final nail that saw him cancelled from attending most award shows, including the Grammys, was a video that surfaced of him using racial slurs. The video went viral and his career quickly came to a pause. His music was pulled from radio stations and he was dropped from his record label while they figured out the best way to handle the situation. Eventually he issued an apology, but it was not enough to get his name removed from the no-no list. Number 9. DaBaby. The rapper formerly known as Baby Jesus, which is a true fact, has always had a bad boy streak in the music industry. He's known for dropping some pretty choice expletives on stage at all times and even makes fun of his fans right to their faces, which is so much fun. This unfortunately culminated in him deciding that it was appropriate to joke about a certain disease that is unnecessarily linked to the gay community. On stage, he told his fans that if you didn't show up with it or any other gnarly STIs, then please put your cell phones in the air. In fact, he said a lot of really weird stuff before telling people to put their phones in the air like he was playing a game of Guess Who. Of course, he was torn to shreds by the LGBTQ+ community, including icons like Elton John, Madonna, and one of his collaborators, Dua Lipa. Not only was he cancelled by fans, but he was actually set to release a clothing line with fashion brand Boohoo Man, but they backed out following the public outcry. To top it all off, two of his biggest performances set to take place at Lollapalooza and a concert in Atlanta were cancelled amid the flurry of complaint calls and emails that the venue had been receiving. The Grammys will probably leave his name off of their guest list this year. Number 8. Milli Vanilli. The story of Milli Vanilli's downfall will eventually be a part of every single music history book as an example of people who just really didn't need to be famous. The only reason that they got their fame was by stealing music from other people. Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan were quickly rising to the top of the music charts in the 80s and 90s, even receiving a Grammy Award for Best New Artist. They were headlining arena shows, doing interviews, people just really loved these guys. Until one day during a concert, their track that they had been lip-syncing to started to skip. The pair are confused on stage for a moment and then just run off, but that moment was 1,000 moments long. These two just plummeted in terms of recognition and appreciation. They were forced to give their Grammy back and had to admit to the public that they had been lip-syncing the entire time. Their producer held a press conference to confirm the situation and revealed that the real musicians were a session band. The real voices behind Milli Vanilli, Brad Howell, and John Davis finally got the credit that they deserved. After the scandal, Milli Vanilli tried to create another album using their own voices, but it was just not the same. In fact, Rob Pilatus passed away the night before the group were supposed to start a promotional tour for their new album. The album exists, but it's never been released. They were banned from appearing on the Grammy stage for 10 years, but seeing as the crew no longer exists, that ban might have just been extended to indefinitely. Number 7. The Weeknd. A while back, The Weeknd actually decided to boycott the Grammys entirely from now on, following his highly controversial shutout from the 2021 ceremony. The Weeknd thought that he was a strong contender in the big 4 categories, Album of the Year especially. His LP After Hours spent 4 consecutive weeks at number 1 on the Billboard's 200, but when the Grammys announced their nominations in 2020, The Weeknd was nowhere to be seen. He tweeted that the Grammys were corrupt. Many industry professionals came to his defense and actually agreed with him. People like Kid Cudi and Scooter Braun backed up his statements, and The Weeknd elaborated more on his opinion on the Grammys. In 63 years of the Grammys, only 10 black artists have won an Album of the Year. The Weeknd, who is already a 3-time Grammy winner himself, so when he was not nominated for this LP, he felt that he had been sucker punched, according to himself. Despite the snub in 2020, 2021, he was nominated in 2022, and earlier this year as well. He may return for the Grammys this year, or he might continue his personal boycott until the end of time. Probably that second one. Number 6, Ceelo Green. He saw us driving around town with the girl he loves, and he was like an actual monster on the planet Earth. Like, he sucks. When I was growing up, I actually really liked his music. FU was my anthem, but little did I know that in 2014, this man would turn out to be just a terrible, terrible person. Ceelo was brought into a court case after a woman alleged that he spiked her drink in 2012. According to Ceelo, he pleaded no contest to the accusations of supplying X to a woman who claims that she does not remember anything between eating sushi with Ceelo to waking up in his house the next day. Ceelo just posted a really questionable statement that I'm not gonna repeat because it's actually disgusting. He was basically arguing why what he did wasn't really what he did, but it was. He later apologized for his comments and eventually shut down his Twitter account. Since then, Ceelo has been blacklisted from Hollywood, and considering he's barely made any music since, the Grammys will not be inviting him to attend or nominate him for anything anytime soon. Number 5, Drake. Drake is a Canadian treasure and was a very vocal supporter of The Weeknd when he was snubbed in 2021. He actually made sure that everyone knew that he doesn't actually care for the Grammys and doesn't believe that the awards show, which was once the highest form of recognition, has remained relevant to the artists who are thought to be deserving of it. He wrote on Instagram that he thinks we should stop allowing ourselves to be shocked every year by the disconnect between impactful music and these awards, and just accept that what was once the highest form of recognition may no longer matter to the artists that exist now and the ones that will come after. He encouraged fans, saying that now is the time to try something new and that you can build it up over time and pass it along to the next generation. Drake has been nominated for a few awards in his career and has won 4 Grammys in various categories, but Drake is more than likely welcome to attend the ceremony, but if they snub The Weeknd again, he might just chill with him instead. Sounds like a fun time, wonder what they get up to. Number 4, Zayn Malik. The former One Direction boy band member fired off at the Recording Academy 5 days before the 2021 Grammy Awards with an F the Grammys tweet. He expressed his frustration over the voting process and the lack of transparency behind it, as well as the lack of inclusion of different kinds of artists in a space that allows favoritism, racism, and networking politics to influence the voting process. You might say he went off a little bit, but he later claimed that his message was not personal or about his own eligibility. He claimed that the company was moving in inches when they really needed to be moving in miles. He said he was keeping pressure on and fighting the transparency and inclusion. He wanted us to make sure that we were honoring and celebrating the artists that actually deserve it. Creative excellence is key. End the secret committees. Until then, F the Grammys. That's what he said online. So when someone tells an entire award show to go, F themselves, you can imagine that it's not a fun time for the people receiving that F, so he's probably not coming this year. Number 3, Britney Spears. Now, Britney Spears was finally released from her conservatorship in 2021 and has since been on a new journey of self-realization and expression. In the past year or two, Britney has been involved with a ton of TV moments, usually interviews, but she recently released a memoir detailing her life experiences. She revealed a lot of juicy information about herself and her family and her relationships, but we have done dedicated videos on that, so if you want to see that and you're curious, go back and check them out. As we are well aware, Hollywood loves to take books, whether fiction or non-fiction, and make them a movie as long as it's a good story. Well, Britney's memoir might be one of those books, but considering her behavior on TikTok, especially in the past couple of months, something tells me that that won't be happening anytime soon. For those of you who don't know, a series of videos were posted on Britney's TikTok where she seems to be dancing with stabby jabby things and told everyone that they were fake. Fake or real? Someone please check on Britney. In consideration of that, Britney was not issued a ban from the ceremony, but security is on high alert, and if she shows up, they will be checking her bags. Number 2, Justin Timberlake. Speaking of Britney Spears, one of the most discussed sections of her book, The Woman in Me, is of course the revelation of what actually happened between herself and her Mickey Mouse Club co-star, Justin Timberlake. After meeting JT in the clubhouse, they sparked a romantic connection, and their connection was strong, but unfortunately, Britney had to make a difficult decision in 2000 after she found out she was pregnant. At first, Britney was actually excited about the entire thing. In her book, she revealed that she had planned on starting a family with Justin, but this was just going to be sooner than they expected. It turns out that Justin Justin wasn't excited and told her that they were both too young, continuing to remind her that their careers would also need to be put on pause. The revelation might be part of the reason why Justin was so nervous leading up to the book's release, and Britney revealed that if the decision had been solely left to her, that she would have gone through with it and she would be a mom right now. Justin's reputation has been called into question a lot since the book was released, and he's actually spent a lot of time trying to, take care of damage control, so far things aren't looking great for Justin. But considering the controversy surrounding him right now, we can't imagine he's going to be invited to the Grammy ceremony at any point soon. Imagine if he was a presenter. That'd be awkward. And at number 1, Kanye. There are so many reasons that this guy is banned from being in any awards show ever for the rest of his life. We could chalk it up to him being a cuckoo. After all, he was fired from basically every company he worked for when he posted some pretty bad tweets that I can't get into. But the reality is that Kanye was banned in the mid-2010s because he did following several public mishaps as well as one on stage that we still talk about today. One incident took place in 2009 when Taylor Swift was trying to accept her award for Best Female Artist, and Kanye just went on the stage, took the mic from her hand, and he was like, "Hey, I'll give this back in a second, but first of all, Beyonce had a great music video, guys, the best of all time." And then he kind of stood there for a sec. Taylor still jokes about that incident today because while she was on her Eras tour in Mexico City, she took the stage to play her piano and the crowd started chanting her name, and she was like, "Man, it's so nice to have your name interrupted by a chanting crowd. It's the best way to be interrupted. She should know." Kanye was issued a ban from the following year of the VMAs, but he has since received a lifetime ban from every other ceremony and will only be watching the Grammys from a seedy internet website. Number 10. VMAs from 2015. 2015 VMAs were just start to finish rough. Miley Cyrus hosted that year, which was a bad idea. Not that she did a bad job, but she was in the midst of a feud with Nicki Minaj. Nicki called her out when she took to the stage to accept her Best Hip Hop award, asking her what was good. Miley had just talked trash about her in the New York Times, and there was a brief back and forth, but all in all, it could have been way worse. Oh yeah, it did get worse. On top of dropping a numerous amount of F-bombs during the show, there was a wardrobe malfunction for Miley. At one point in the show, she did a bit where she was holding part of a drape over herself while changing, but the drape slipped and revealed her bare chest to the world. No censor was able to catch it at the moment, and any footage now is of course blurred, but that's what happens when you do it live. It wasn't just Miley that caused issues. Kanye West also made a long-winded speech that was kind of a rant, kind of a truth bomb, but mostly nonsense. The speech derailed the flow of the show and was just a little peek into the madman that was being created. Oh, and to top it all off, no Beyonce, no Madonna, no Lady Gaga. Why? Number 9. Michael's birthday speech. Travel back to 2002 with me for a moment. It's just a jump to the left. It's a musical thing. On August 29th, the VMAs took place on what also happened to be Michael Jackson's birthday. In case you forgot, Michael was the Thriller guy, Macaulay Culkin's best friend. You should not forget him. In honor of Michael Jackson and in celebration, MTV threw a birthday party during the event. Britney Spears was tasked with presenting Michael and delivering his birthday cake. During his speech to set up Michael's arrival, she praised him as an incredible performer and referred to him as the artist of the millennium. Things got a little awkward when Michael took the stage and started giving a speech, thanking the audience for giving him the Artist of the Millennium award. In one of the most uncomfortable moments in MTV's history, Michael Jackson started describing his childhood and how appreciative he was for the honor being bestowed upon him. The crowd was confused but ultimately decided to play along and gave him a massive round of applause. When Michael found out about the incident, he was actually more giggly than anything else. According to his management team at the time, he thought it was hilarious and felt like the biggest fool in the world. A happy birthday indeed. Number 8, Oscar Streaker. This is by far the oldest entry on this list, dating back to 1974. During the Oscar ceremony, as the host David Niven was introducing Elizabeth Taylor, who was presenting the award for Best Picture, as he was making a speech literally referencing how the world was having a bit of a nervous breakdown and that films provided an escape from reality. A man wearing nothing but his mustache and his birthday suit ran across the stage, throws up a peace sign, and disappears off the camera. He never says a single word the entire time he's up there. After Niven had a bit of a chuckle, he told the crowd that this was bound to happen, but was it? Even in 1974, it was pretty difficult to get into the Oscars without an invitation. Robert Opel, the man with the mustache, made his way through security by posing as a journalist, and while behind the scenes, he cut a hole in a large and expensive piece of curtain that was supposed to be used for projecting images, and then made it to the other side of the stage. It was later revealed that this was actually somewhat planned, as the man was encouraged by a producer to make an appearance, and to do what he did when Niven said his lines, which was a strange and memorable moment for sure. Number 7, Miss Universe. Getting the name wrong for an award show moment is one thing, and at the Oscars, there are at least a ton of people who can share in your disappointment if that ever happens. But in 2015, Steve Harvey, the host of Family Feud, was the host of the Miss Universe pageant, bringing women from all around the globe to compete for the title of Miss Universe. As Steve went on to announce the winner, he confidently exclaimed that Miss Colombia, who was really the first runner-up, was the winner, when actually it was Miss Philippines. The mistake was not his fault though. During the rehearsal, he was only supposed to say 2 names, the runner-up and the winner, but last minute they changed it to where he had to say 3 names, which really just threw him off and created a lot of chaos. The teleprompter said 1 name, but someone in his ear told him to just read the name on the card that he was holding. Those were 2 different names, and a fumble took place. He went backstage and got told he did a great job, but then he was told he said the wrong name, and instead of waiting for the news to come out the next day, Steve walked back on stage, revealed he made a mistake, and to the devastation of one woman and the delight of another. He received a lot of flack for this moment, but again, not really his fault. Number 6, Moonlight mix-up. This is one of the few live TV fumbles I actually got to see happen live, and I was just as confused as the rest of the world. In 2017, at the Oscar ceremony, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway appeared on stage to present an award for Best Film. They opened an envelope and read the name out loud. At first, Faye was a little confused, as it was later revealed that the envelope said Emma Stone La La Land because she was accidentally handed a copy of the winners from Best Actress in a leading role. Because it said La La Land, she confidently told the audience that La La Land won the Oscar. As the crew from the project flooded the stage, Warren and Faye just looked confused until the stage was overflowing with excited cast and crew ready to accept their Oscars. However, 1 moment later, the director of the film, Damien Chazelle, saw the envelope and addressed the audience. A mistake had been made and they didn't win. A stagehand jogged to them, just bolted across the room, handed them the real winner's name, which was Moonlight, who had won Best Picture that year, not La La Land. There is a moment of people thinking it's some kind of a joke, but the director was being very sincere. The best part of this moment, Ryan Gosling is in the background, the lead of the movie and a nominee for Best Actor, and all he is doing is trying to contain his laughter. He wasn't even upset, it was more like a "you gotta be kidding me" type deal. Something tells me that Faye and Warren won't be asked to present any awards anytime soon. Number 5, Adele Dazeem. A while back in 2014, John Travolta flubbed the name of one of the most famous women in musical theater history. At the Oscars that year, he was supposed to introduce Idina Menzel ahead of her performance of Let It Go, cause in case you didn't know, she voices Elsa. She was also Elphaba in the musical Wicked and a ton of other stuff, but I can't geek out about that right now. For this event, she was promoting the film Frozen and showcased a piece of music that became one of the most popular songs for the next 3 years. It's probably still in your head right now. He was so confident in his delivery, he introduced the audience to the wickedly talented, one and only Adele Dazeem. The moment spawned some parody Twitter accounts, and there's even an Adele Dazeem random name generator that's turned people like Jared Leto into Jed Lopez and Matthew McConaughey into Michael Mazzoline. Kinda like that one. The following year, the two appeared on stage together again, where Idina decided to drop some revenge. She was set to introduce the next round of nominees, and as a little joke, the Oscars executives decided to invite John Travolta back to team up with Adele. She introduced him by his new name, Glom Gazingo. The interaction between them seemed a little bit forced, but it was nice that they played the whole thing off as funny rather than an actual incident. Since then, John is supposed to triple check everything before he presents and has to practice pronouncing names constantly. Number 4, Will Smith versus Chris Rock. In 2022, Chris Rock was presenting at the 94th annual Oscar ceremony when he decided to make a little joke about Jada Pinkett Smith and her hair loss. Rock expressed his excitement to see her in a fictional G.I. Jane movie, and immediately following the joke, which was very funny and landed for everyone else. Rock stood in confusion because Will Smith started making his way to the stage. What's going on? Well, Will adjusted his jacket, took a firm stance, and clocked Chris right across his cheeks. He winded up his hand first to conjure the ultimate amount of force, and initially this was seen as a planned joke or something, but then Will started shouting several times at Rock to keep his wife's name out of his mouth, adding a couple F-bombs in there. Chris handled the situation pretty well, and he kept his cool, laughing it off for the camera, and he brought out the next award presenter. He was professional and was quick to get the night back on track, but unfortunately about an hour later, Will Smith won an Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role because he played, Richard Williams, the father of tennis superstars Venus and Serena, in a movie. But during his speech, he gave a half-hearted apology for his actions before claiming the situation was due to his months of portraying the father on set, leaving him with an extreme paternal sense to protect his family. Unfortunately for Will, the slap was enough to get him banned from the Oscars indefinitely. And on top of that, he seemingly canceled himself, now being seen as an aggressive man with no impulse control. He was fired from upcoming projects, and right now he just sits at his home polishing his one and only Oscar next to one single lit candle in the darkest room of his mega mansion. Number 3, Adrien Brody and Halle Berry. We're popping back again to 2003 at the Academy Awards, where Halle Berry presented Adrien Brody with the award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Normally, when you accept an award like this, you walk on stage, thank the person who announced you, and give a little speech. But instead, Adrien grabbed Halle Berry's face and pulled her in close, planting one right on her. At the time, the incident was brushed off and nothing was thought of it, but a couple of years ago, Halle admitted that the moment was unplanned and she had no idea what was happening. At the time, this moment was seen as comedic or just some fun between friends, but in 2023, the moment feels a lot darker and it's pretty clear that Halle was uncomfortable. Number 2, Jennifer Lawrence. This is one of the more memorable award show moments of all time that she may never live down. In 2013, while walking up the stage to accept her Oscar for Best Actress, Jennifer took a little tumble and tripped on her dress. She stood giggling for a moment, but eventually made her way to the stage. But the following year, she fell again, only this time on the red carpet, and again the next year. People started to notice a pattern and started to think that maybe she was just doing it on purpose to appear more grounded. Not some Hollywood elite who knows how to walk properly, because if you're not famous, then you can't walk straight. Those are the rules. Eventually, she got her footing down and has not made any more on-air tumbles in recent history, but we can chalk up the moments to Jen wearing a dress that was a little bit just too long and not paying attention to where she was stepping, but that's about it. And at number 1, the Kanye snub. Now, there are so many reasons that Kanye West is banned from attending another VMA show in his life, and most award shows. Now, we could chalk it up to him being a cuckoo. After all, he was fired from basically every company he worked for when he posted some pretty bad tweets that I will not get into. But the reality is that Kanye was banned in the mid-2010s following several public mishaps, as well as one onstage incident that people still talk about today. The incident took place in 2009 when Taylor Swift was trying to accept her award for Best Female Artist of the Year. Kanye stormed the stage, took the mic from her hand, and told everyone that he was gonna let her finish, but that Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time, guys. He didn't sound that nerdy, but Taylor still jokes about the incident to this day. While she was in Mexico City this year for her Eras tour, she took to the stage to play her piano and the crowd started chanting her name. She said that having someone interrupt you by chanting your name is actually the best way to be interrupted, and she should know. Kanye was issued a ban from the following year, but he has since received a lifetime ban from the VMAs and from his fame in general.